Hello and welcome to this episode of the Popcorn Wind Down. I'm Eddie.
And I'm Tammy.
Thank you for joining us this week where we will be discussing the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, which picks up exactly where the Avengers Endgame left off and telling the story of Sam, the Falcon, and Bucky, aka the Winter Soldier. And it details Sam's struggle with picking up the Captain America mantle. Tammy, I loved the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. What about you?
It was good. It was good. I won't say that I loved it. No, that's not going to be my rating for it. But it was good. It served its purpose well on what it was supposed to do, I guess. Another thing is that everything from Marvel sells anyway. So, I mean, they had a very, very strong foundation. But I did enjoy watching it. I just didn't love it. But I liked it.
I loved it. Was I in love with it to where I wanted to marry it and it was like my favorite thing from Marvel? No. But I enjoyed it more than I thought I would. And I guess that gives it the love status. I think that it was more poignant than I thought it would be, especially given the times, and they addressed some things that I didn't think they would necessarily address, especially with Marvel. I really enjoyed the storytelling, and I loved the anti-hero, Carly, and I don't even want to call her the villain because I completely understood where she was coming from and her drive. I didn't agree with necessarily the way she went about it, but I got her motives and her motivations, and I loved how it wasn't just as simple as her being the bad guy and wanting to be all corrupt and everything like that. So I love the actress who played her. Her name was Erin Kellyman, and that was the first time I've really seen her in anything. But yeah. So what did you think of her arc and her?
Okay, so they kept calling her a teenager, so she was a teenager, right?
Yeah, I think she was probably 18, 19, like her late teens. I don't think she was like 15, 16.
Well, no, because she definitely couldn't pass for it anyway. But so I also liked the storyline of what her message was. I thought it was very, very an important conversation that nobody ever wants to talk about, because it was kind of going back to like the whole refugee situation that we have across the world, and more well-developed countries kind of being forced into sometimes opening their borders and everything like that. Like, that's kind of the feeling I got, was a little bit of it touching on the whole refugee situation that we have in the world. What I will say is that I think she didn't start off as heartless as she ended up becoming. And I think what it was is that I forgot who said it in the show, and they've said it before in the Captain America movies, on how when you take the serum, it kind of amplifies who you are deep down. And so they always talk about the fact of like, Steve was a really great guy before he took the serum, and that just amplified his patriotism and how great of a guy he was after the serum, and then it affected everyone else different. So I think that even if her message was really good, just like with the new Captain America, I think it just amplified that she didn't have the maturity or the guidance to be the leader of that movement. Her message was good, but you saw the immaturity in the decisions that she was making. That goes towards, I guess, her age, on her being 18, 19 years old and literally being the leader of this movement and everything like that after the blip and everything. But I like the message that they were trying to send with her character, and the role that she played. So, and the actress was great too. Like I thought she did a very good job on her role.
Yeah. And I agree. I think sometimes when we with extremism, because I will call it that, because she did go to the extremes, and like you said, it was, you saw this transition of her going from, there's always this sense of desperation there, obviously, for them to go to that extreme. There is a sense of desperation to just take on that mantle and to do those things, because people have stopped listening. And for those who may not know, after the blip, when people in Infinity War and Endgame, when people come back, the refugees were now starting to be displaced. And, it's like they were gone for 5 years. And so, like Aunt May in Spider-Man, I forgot, Welcome Home, or the second Spider-Man, I forgot the exact title, but she was talking about how when she came back, there was people who lived in her apartment. So that's what they were grappling with here, is what do they do? Does Aunt May get her apartment back? She's been gone for 5 years. Or do you kick out the people who've been living there for 5 years? And so a lot of the countries were starting to close their borders, and these refugees, it's like, okay, well, what about us? What do we do? Should we be punished because we stayed? It's not like they didn't have sympathy for the people that had been gone, but it's like, okay, now that they're back, you're forgetting about us. So that was their argument. And, it's a little bit more detailed than that. But yeah, I think the message may have got lost in her mythology, in the method, especially towards the end. And I agree. I wrote that down. Like the serum, it just kind of amplifies maybe some of your darkest tendencies, especially if you don't have the maturity to to overcome them, like you said. And with her being so young. And I love how it was with her group. Did they take it willingly, or I forgot, were they forced to take it? Were they trying to experiment on them too?
I thought they took it willingly. Like, yeah. It was presented to them, and they took it.
Yeah. And then they took more samples of it to try to build up their super army for their cause. So, so I really did. I could relate to a lot of the message, but not necessarily the method of what she was trying to say and the point that she was trying to get across. What did you think of, since you brought him up, the new Captain America, who was played by Wyatt Russell, who is the son of Kurt Russell and Goldie Hawn, just in case no one knew that.
I knew that kid somewhere.
Yeah.
I was like, I know him. Like, his face, I know him. But
he kind of looks like his pops. Like, there was this one scene where it's like, damn, you look like Kurt Russell. Yeah, like a young Kurt Russell. I didn't care enough
to research it. I didn't care enough to research it, but I knew his face. I just didn't care enough to research it.
That's why you have me, Tim. That's why you have me.
Exactly. So it's the same thing kind of goes, right? And he became Captain America without taking the serum. So basically he became Captain America off his hard work. I would say is his hard work, his dedication, his leadership. He showed the qualities that they wanted to see for the person who was basically going to be the icon of America in the United States. And so he was given this position of being Captain America. The one thing I will say is what twisted it was that, once again, just like with Carly, there was no guidance that was really given to him on what they really needed, because he was a soldier that did what a soldier was supposed to do. And I think at the end of the day, what they had to realize was the reason why Captain America worked so well and why people loved him even when he went against the government is because he had like a set morals, and he made his own decisions. He would listen to you, he'd hear you out, but at the end of the day, he's going to always do what's right. And they just wanted somebody who would follow the rules. So I thought, I will say, and this may be an unpopular opinion, he was a great choice. He was a great choice to be Captain America. But ultimately what happens is that Sam should have never given the shield away in the first place. So, he was set up for failure from the jump. But I think he did a good job up until he got blood on the shield. It was a wrap from there when he got blood on the shield.
Were you shedding a tear? Was that a tear I heard?
Okay. So I will say that I was very, very upset. I will say I honestly had some real emotions when I saw him kill that dude with Captain America's shield. I said, no, what the fuck is, what? I said in my living room, like, I know this dude did not just get blood on Captain America's shield. Chris Evans better come get him. Chris, where you at? Where you at, Chris? Because he just got blood on your shield, dude. He just got your blood on your shield.
Okay. That was a Remember the Titans moment, because I flashed at you saying, you better not get blood on my uniform. Again, Remember the Titans life lesson number 101.
Life lesson. Like, this is like 1001 or something like that.
Okay, we are going to have to do a Remember the Titans episode just because.
But like, yeah, so and then when he took the serum, I mean, you knew it was coming. You knew it. Like, from the jump, you knew that at some point he was going to get that serum into him. And it just amplified his inferiority complex, because he was never confident in being chosen as Captain America. He had nobody to build that confidence in him being Captain America. So it just amplified his insecurities and inferiority. And and he became a killer from there.
Yeah, I agree with you. Sam should have never given up the shield, which we're going to talk about in depth in just a moment. So, and he was so naive in doing so, which is a different conversation. But back to John Walker. I was willing to give him a chance, and I agree with you. I didn't like the way they went about it, and it kind of shows you what the government thought of the Avengers and the superheroes, to think in so many ways, like the government tends to do, that everyone and everything is just replaceable. Like, it's just a fill in a blank, pick and choose. Like, okay, he was Captain America. It can't really be that hard. Let's go get someone else for the military and make them Captain America. At least they have the foresight not to try to give him that serum. Okay. And like, I can't believe if it was Bucky or Sam or someone who said, they have more, they didn't just stop. Okay. So at least they have the foresight not to try to force the serum, since it was so unstable and it reacted with everyone so differently. But it's just it was just the plug and play nature of, okay, let's go pick out one of our best, most decorated soldiers and make him Captain America. But it's like, you didn't even send him to the Avengers complex. You didn't even try to get him to see, or really, like you say, understand what goes into the job of being Captain America. It's like, okay, you want him to be the superhero to save the world and represent the country, but you're not going to give him any type of training. You're not going to consult with the people who knew Captain America, the most or best, or could tell you what it was like, what it really meant to take on this mantle, just not from the PR perspective, but just from actually doing the job of being Captain America. So, and like you say, it's different from being a soldier, because soldiers, not saying that they don't have a moral code, but it's different. He does what soldiers do. And, so from that aspect, he was, and I get it, the inferiority complex kind of took over a lot and made him come across as an asshole. So I kind of would have liked to have seen a little bit more of him where he didn't just seem like this asshole. Because every time, like, even when he would try to work with Sam and Bucky, it was just so, I have to show you who I am. I have to prove that I'm the new Captain America. It's going to be my way or the highway. And so I didn't like that aspect, but I did like the actor who played him, and I liked, I understood. So I don't think what you're saying is necessarily an unpopular choice, but I know a lot of people, the internets were pissed when they introduced him as Captain America, and they're like, oh no, what the fuck? And then, the blood on the shield, that was a big moment. That was like, like, no. And I was like, dude, is this the serum? Is it just combined with his grief? Because, and I guess we'll never really know, because before he took the serum, like, you could tell something was different. You knew he was going to take it when he found it. But when they killed his best friend, Battlestar, and it was like, okay, all of a sudden, does it kick in? Like, his grief, you knew, his grief was going to be uncontrollable, that he was going to be angry. But without the serum, do you think he would have been able to stop?
No. I mean, he would have died beforehand, because the serum was the only thing that saved him from being killed himself when he was going after the guy. But if he hadn't taken the serum, and let's say that it was just a regular dude that he was fighting against, no, he still would have taken that step, because his grief overshadowed his justice.
So but the serum probably gave him an out, an excuse, rather.
It gave him the strength to do it.
Yeah, and I guess what I'm saying is, when it comes, like, when he had to go face, when he at the end, when he had to go to the tribunal and face military justice or whatever, and we'll talk about one of my favorite additions, Miss Julia Louis-Dreyfus, being added to the cast, and her super shady, shadowy role. Still don't know what she does. 3 episodes in is like, who the hell is this lady, and what the hell does she do? But I think that's what gave him the cover, was the serum, and why he did end up in a brig somewhere, or just dead, So I'll be interested to see that, like, what his role is going to be coming up, and what her role is, like, who the hell is she, like, what does she really do? So okay, what did you think about Sam and Bucky? What should their name be?
Well,
Bam?
it's nothing new, though. Like, Sam and Bucky have always had that flow and that connection. Like, I just think that they played on the fact of, like, they have amazing chemistry, the actors, Anthony Mackie, Sebastian Stan. And, like, I heard, like, they're really, really good friends in real life as well. Like, they get along extremely well. Like, granted, you hear about, like, how they can all joke around with each other and everything, but in such a large cast, of course, there's going to be cliques and people that you're cool with more than others. And so I hear that he's really, really cool with Chris Evans and Sebastian Stan over the other cast members.
Probably, yeah. I'm sorry. I think that would just come from, them doing all the Captain America. I think you would probably be cooler with the people you do your actual movies with, and then when you get on the Avengers set, y'all all just chill. Like, you're cool with these people, but I think the ones who are, like, in your series of movies would probably be closer to.
Well, yeah, but then they also welcome him because they say, like, he's really cool with Tom Holland, even though, like, he's always bullying him. But they say, like, him and Tom Holland are also, like, really, really cool. But yeah, so their chemistry is, like, off the charts. Like, it's just amazing chemistry. Like, I think him and Sebastian Stan, as Bucky, have way better chemistry than him and Chris Evans as Captain America. Like, so I loved it. Like, my favorite thing was the soul searching activity that they had to do, and he was like, "Oh, I'm ready," and they getting close. He was like, "Get closer," and so they get, like, real up on each other, and they're, like, staring at into each other's eyes, and I was just like, I could just imagine the jokes behind the scenes as they're doing this, where they have to literally, like, just stare at each other's eyes and be like, "Yo, your eyes are really beautiful." Like,
yeah, like, I would have loved to see the outtakes from that scene.
Yeah.
Their therapy session, I do love their chemistry, and I thought, like, I was so happy because I want to say in the comics at one point the Winter Soldier kind of takes over and he becomes Captain America for a little bit, and then I know the Falcon takes over to become Captain America. So at first when they heard that, the Captain America spinoff, I know a lot of people were upset because they thought it would be Bucky, the Winter Soldier, who took over. And but I was.
It should have been. I'm sorry to cut you off. It should have been Bucky though. It should have been Bucky.
I can't disagree with that.
That's like I get. Go ahead. I'm sorry because I'm sure we're gonna get to this part, but go ahead. Finish your thought.
Yeah, I can't disagree with that. Okay, it kind of goes into the whole conversation, so we just might as well have it now. Sam is too. I guess the one part that I didn't like, I'm trying to figure out how to broach it, and then kind of weave it all in. So we'll just start. I loved Carl Lumbly as Isaiah Bradley, who wasn't a Captain America, but he was one of the first, kind of like their whole Tuskegee Airman project, where they tested out the serum on Black soldiers, and no one ever knew. No one knew what they did. No one knew their sacrifice. No one knew how it affected them. And we're used to that. But I loved his role, and I loved that they actually talked about it. But Sam, to me, he proved that he wasn't ready to take on the mantle of Captain America. And I don't know that I ever see him really as Captain America, even the newfound Captain America, because he's a little naive. And someone pointed out, it's like he's naive in the fact that you're a Black man in America. I get that. And like I said, I love this reckoning in the way that a lot of shows and people are really dealing with the reality of what is going on in our country around race, not just Blacks, but representation in all of the other ethnicities, all minority groups. So I love that. But to me, it's like, dude, you still think that you can walk into this bank just as the Falcon and get this loan. You're still a Black man in America in the fucking deep South. It's not like you are Chris Evans. You didn't take on the mantle of Captain America.
You was the sidekick.
So his naivety towards that, at the same time touting the racial injustices that you have to deal with as a Black man. Okay, so that was number one. That was the thing. That was the one thing that got me. Then when you have this outrage about never being told about Isaiah Bradley and the other ones who were experimented on. But you still act like you don't understand where their rage is coming, where his rage and his anger is coming from over this country and what they did to him. And, it's just like where you're kind of experiencing the same thing yourself. It's like, knowing that technically you were Captain America, you gave the shield to the museum. They go get the shield out the damn museum and they appoint someone else to be Captain America without even fucking consulting you, who you were all, So it was just, he's just a little too naive for me. And then someone else said it's like, why is he always getting his ass kicked?
Because he ain't as cool as he hung around the strength. He wasn't the strength himself.
Yeah. So
because
go ahead.
When you think of like, I agree with you on like what you said with the whole very, very naive. No acknowledgement of the fact of saying, dude, at least Black Panther surrounded himself with his people.
The Dora Milaje?
Yeah, huh?
The Dora Milaje?
No, just in general, like Black, like Wakanda, like you full on Wakanda, and then Black Panther was like, okay, I'm gonna take a break from Wakanda right now. Let me go help them save the world. But you going right back to Wakanda. I feel like with Sam, he kind of like had always like he's just surrounded by all white people. There was no acknowledgement of the fact, like, dude, there's a whole nother level on the fact of saying that you Black. Because I will also say that another situation that needs to be addressed is what's his name? What's the War Machine dude name? Oh God, what's his name? Don Cheadle's character.
War Machine.
No, I mean his real name on the
Rhodes.
In Rhodes.
Rhodey.
Rhodey. He also has that same situation that Sam has as well, where there's not truly a acknowledgement of the fact that you are Black. You like we not gonna address this? Like we gonna act like you white like the rest of them? No, you're not. So I think that Rose also, like, he's also probably gonna have a reckoning as well on he's naive as well on the whole situation of being one of the only people of color within the Avengers. Yeah, within the Avengers. And so, like, with Sam, I think because he's never had to deal with it because he was in the bubble of being with the Avengers and being with Captain America and oh my God, why can't I think of his name right now? Steve Rogers. Because Steve was never the type to, like, it just didn't occur to him to be racist, I guess. Like, not even like microaggressions coming from him. Like, it just didn't flow for him. But
he is what he was the idea of what America should have been or could have been or could be. So, but not what it is. And I think, so even like and that's the thing. It's like, okay, you deal with it and you address it on some level. But then when you put on that uniform, you think it changes, and it doesn't. And I think that's what Isaiah was trying to tell him. Like, you were just as expendable as everyone else.
Another thing, you got rich friends. You mean to tell me that you ain't gonna contact? And that lets you know right there, you may have been a part of the Avengers, but y'all weren't friends. There is no way, like, you couldn't ask none of your people.
Well, he was proud. Tony is dead. Bucky came and helped him while checking out that was funny. I love that. The chemistry between Bucky and Sarah when he's like, don't flirt with my sister.
Bucky is gorgeous, so he can flirt with anybody he wants.
Yeah, but he was checking out like, oh, look at you. You got a fever for the flavor while you was in Wakanda.
Well, I also say Bucky was just like Steve Rogers on, like, he's not even the history of race, but he just be like, oh, okay, like, your sister cute, like, of course I'm gonna give her a looking up and down, like, she cute, like, I'm gonna do that for any woman that I find to be cute, like, I'm gonna look you up and down, I don't care who you is. But
so I definitely like that. I think Bucky had a thing for Sarah and vice versa. It would be interesting to see where that goes. I also loved his relationship.
Nowhere.
That's what you say. I also loved Bucky's continuing relationship with the Dora Milaje, even though he was no longer in Wakanda. And I forgot what they call him, the White Panther, the White Walker. What's his name?
The White Wolf.
White Wolf. Okay. Yeah. The White Panther. Damn, I'm horrible with names. But I loved his continuing ongoing relationship and respect with the Dora Milaje, because when that dude escaped, and he was like, shit, because that dude, he underestimated him, the scientist guy that escaped in the bathroom, the one that they were trying to take back to Wakanda, and he was just like, what did he say? Something like, oh, they can't take me down. Bucky just kind of looked like, yeah, dude, okay, whatever. So I really did like that, and I love seeing them as part of. I love their cameo appearance, and I love the Dora Milaje. So they need their own series. That would be awesome. That's just my thought. What?
No, I mean, it's cool to see them. I don't want a show of them, but it's cool to see them being badass.
I think they would make for a great show.
It would literally be the same scene every single time. Them just kicking another white man's ass. Like, that's it.
I don't think so. You could build a show around Dora Milaje.
You can build a show around anybody, but should you? Is the question.
Okay, so the big one. Now, what did you think about Sam giving? Well, you said he shouldn't have given it up, but do you think he's a good Captain America? Like,
no, but I ain't got no choice in that. So
you weren't America now. You weren't convinced by his speech at the end and him saving the day.
I'm so sorry. My bad. I apologize. It was a nice soapbox speech. Yeah, it was nice. Like I felt the what it was supposed to do. It was a nice MLK speech. He good. Threw a little Malcolm X up in there. No, I am not sold on Sam being Captain America, and maybe it's because from the jump, Steve had enough faith in you that he gave you the shield, and you automatically gave it up, saying that you weren't ready for it. And I still don't think he's ready for it. It's an unpopular opinion. Once again, I have a lot of them, but I don't think that he's ready, because I'm gonna stick to my original opinion, which is that the new Captain America should have been Bucky. That's just how I feel. Like Bucky should have been given the shield. It should have been Bucky. I'm sorry. Like that's just me. Sam was good for his being the Falcon. And I like the fact of like he could have still been a Falcon and not been a sidekick. Like him coming to the forefront and being his own person, definitely, without being like the wingman as they tried to call him. Definitely, I love that. But being Captain America, no, because I don't think that his idealistic, naive view of the world has truly changed. I think that he is open, his eyes are cracked open just a little bit, but he still has this idealistic viewpoint of the world that I don't think him as a black man should have. I'm just put that out there. So, yeah, but he got it. So there ain't no changing it now.
I'm going to agree with you. I'm willing to give him a chance as Captain America, but I'm with you. I guess I said it before, is I don't understand how experiencing the things that you've experienced as a black man in the military, as a black man growing up in deep South Louisiana, with boaters for parents, and the way you were rejected for that loan still in 2021, how you can
after saving the world, how you can still be so fucking naive. Like that to me got me. But I do like how he was compassionate. I do like how he tried to understand where Carly was coming from, rather than just going out on a seek, destroy, and not kill necessarily, but a seek and destroy mission. He was sympathetic and he tried to help her. I get that, and I understand that, and so I do like that aspect of him. I do like the fact that Bucky is trying really hard to work through his issues and get over the Winter Soldier programming. I know that conversation he had to have with that guy's dad, who had become like his friend, probably his best friend. Like when he was in the bar with the old man, at first I thought he was someone from his past, like someone he knew or he had fought in a war with, and that they just reconnected. When I realized the connection between him and the old man, I was like, oh gosh. And so when he went and had that conversation with him and tell him, hey, I'm the one that killed your son, I know that would have been like heartbreaking. So I'm glad he's kind of getting over all that programming shit. Sharon Carter, did you see that coming? Like 40%, I want to say. Like I didn't believe that she just wanted to come home. I will say that I didn't really think like it was just a coming home thing. To find out that she is the broker and she was the one literally behind everything from the jump, I did not see that part coming. But I knew it was more to her story than what was being presented. Like, I knew there was going to be a twist. I just didn't realize the twist was going to be so huge that she's completely, oh my God, what's the word? Like when you've lost like all faith and your eyes are full, it's not disingenuous. No, that's the wrong word. I can't think of the word, but her eyes have been fully open to the fact that every country is fucking full of bullshit, including the United States of America. So you might as well
get what you...
Yeah, you might as well get what you can while you can, be as evil as they are, because obviously that's how they run the world anyway.
I'm with you. I was not surprised. I kind of figured out she was the broker. I think I started suspecting her as the broker probably when they went to the train to get the first scientist who had made the serum. It was just too close to call things, and they never really mentioned it or brought it up. And so I was like, okay, there's more to her that meets the eye. She's either the broker or she has a strong connection to the broker. I knew that she didn't really want to come home, because I'm like, why would she want to go home? The money is good, and the power that she has, and whatever her job is, even if she presented herself as just like the middleman or some, that type of thing, the money that she's making and the power that she has now is so much more than what she would have had at home. The only reason to go home would be to clear your name, and to clear the Carter legacy, which now, once it comes out to who she really is and what she's been up to, it's just going to totally probably be destroyed even further. But and then it's like, oh wow, and it was good because she's the last person that Sam and Bucky would ever suspect. So once they find out the truth, or once they start, it's going to be interesting to see how they start to suspect her, and what she's going to do now that she's been cleared and she's going to be going back to the CIA. She's going to be more dangerous than ever. So it was good to see her in a role like that. I would be interested to see how Emily Van Camp plays that, because normally she plays such goodies, and so it made kind of
revenge. Come on, I got the revenge look.
Oh yeah, I forgot about
she did that.
I forgot about Revenge. Forgive me, because that was one of her best roles. But okay, and I said normally, not all the time, because she was great in Revenge. But I'm talking about now, like The Resident, and then Everwood, and the first few Captain America episodes. Like, her characters are usually so goody and milquetoast or boring. Yes, that's my SAT word of the day. So I just was like, okay, I'll be interested to see how she plays this new version of Sharon Carter, the big bad, and what's going to happen. So Captain America 4 has been announced, and I don't know what's going to happen with Falcon and the Winter Soldier. So do you think they should continue the series, or should they just transfer it all to Captain America 4?
What do you mean? Huh?
Like, everything that happened in Falcon and the Winter Soldier, do you think it should, how sometimes they just kind of carry over a little bit of the storyline from the movie to the TV show and vice versa? Do you think that they should just transfer everything that happened over in the Falcon and Winter Soldier to Captain America 4 and pick up from there? Or should it be a separate standalone story?
It should be a separate standalone story, but that's still going to be the background, is Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
So do you think they should pick up with Sharon Carter's being the big bad and follow the broker thread, or should it be something that pertains to...
No, I don't think that she should be the big bad on Captain America. I think that it should be where they're showing that she's still the broker, but then for season 2 of Falcon and the Winter Soldier is where... I think she should be dealt with in the series that she was introduced to, not transferred over to the movie, but not just completely ignoring the fact that she is the broker and she's doing her own thing on the side, but don't make her like the center bad of the movie.
Okay. I was gonna say, because she is still part of that universe too. Unlike Julia Louis-Dreyfus, who I'm obsessed with that, just figuring out who she is and what her character is going to do and how she's going to play into the movie. And should John Walker carry over to the movie, or should he stay in the series?
I don't know. It all depends on the direction that they're going to be going with the movie. It was just announced, and they said that they had a conversation about bringing Chris Evans back. So don't even know if the new Captain America movie is going to be Chris Evans, or is it going to be Anthony Mackie and Sebastian Stan? Like, what's the concept of it? So depending on the direction that they're going to go with the movie would determine if they should transfer over with Agent, what was his name at the end?
I don't know. I'm just gonna call him Agent Black or something.
Agent America or something like that. It was a very patriotic name, but yeah.
And you can tell that whatever she was up to was not like, you know what? She gave me like really crazy conspiracy theory, far right MAGA vibes. Like she just seemed like that type of, I don't know, like, but I loved her character. Like she was truly intriguing. I was like, okay. So
I'm gonna leave you with that one because I was not. I thought that her character is very cartoonish, and I don't do cartoons, so I am actually not interested in what's gonna come up for her. I'll be like, oh, okay. Like I feel like when it's revealed like what her real motive is, I'm gonna be like, oh, okay, can we get back to the real people now? She was just too cartoonish for me on it. Like I don't feel she was realistic enough. Like I didn't take her seriously. Like knowing that she probably has a lot of power and everything, I still wouldn't take her seriously because she was just too blah. But I mean,
she didn't come across as cartoonish. She came across as like eccentric and one of those scary people who you underestimate because they come across that way. But when it comes down to it, like you said, like, because at one point I thought, oh, is she the broker? Like, just because, to get him out of all the trouble he was in, even with being able to use the serum as an excuse, she has mad power. So I'm just really intrigued.
She's a lobbyist.
Plus, I don't know if she's just a lobbyist, but we'll see. I think I'm really interested to see how they pick up with her. So they have announced Captain America 4, which will probably come out in Marvel Phase 5 because they've already announced Marvel Phase 4. And you hinted at Falcon and the Winter Soldier Season 2. So that means you think there should be a Season 2?
No, I said that because most likely there's going to be a Season 2.
But do you think there should be a Season 2?
Like, honestly, no.
So that means that they should carry over the threads to the new Captain America movie?
No.
So they should just let it die?
Sure.
Oh, you're so frustrating sometimes. Why haven't I put you up for adoption yet? Okay. So no Season 2. Are you excited about Captain America Season 4 or Captain America 4?
Only if Chris Evans comes back. I love Anthony Mackie, but not as Captain America. So to hear that if he was going to be the lead for the new movie, of course I'm going to watch the movie because it is the Marvel Universe. But I'm not excited about that. But if they announce that Chris Evans is coming back as Captain America, oh, I'm all in. Like full force all in. So it just depends.
So if they reverse time and go get him from when he went into the machine.
I don't know what they got to do, but they need to go do something to bring Chris Evans back. Bring him back.
Because if you remember, he was an old man because he went and he gave it all up to spend out his last days with Peggy. Okay. I'm just saying, you want an old ass Captain America, that's on you.
They can always go back. Just like
he was still
else.
hot as a great grandpa.
They can always go back and bring him.
Okay. So, what would you rank Falcon and the Winter Soldier?
I'm going to give it a 3.
A solid 3.
A solid 3, right in the middle. I enjoyed it. I watched it. But I will say that around like episode 4, I started to lose interest in it, and it literally took me up until I want to say last Wednesday to finally watch the last episode. Like that's how like, and it ended like what, 2 weeks? I think it was like 2 weeks ago. I don't know time anymore. We're in quarantine. But yeah, like I just kind of stretched out on actually watching the last episode because I wasn't interested enough to see how it ended. So it lost me around like towards the end of episode 4, episode 5 definitely. And so I would give it a solid 3. Like it was good. It was in WandaVision good, but it was good. But I'm excited about Loki.
Okay. Yay, Loki. I'm excited about that too. I would give it a solid 3.75. There are some things that, there's some things that I had a problem with, which I stated earlier, Sam and his naivety. And if he's going to continue to be that naive, especially as a black man carrying the mantle, because the government was so happy when he gave back that shield. So I give it a 3.75, which brings it to an average of 3.375 popcorns.
Wait, what? No, 3.25.
3.375.
Oh, 375? Oh, okay, that's nice.
So I would say, and I am excited. I do think there should be a season 2. I'm really excited about that. I'm excited to see if there is going to be a season 2. I'm also excited for Captain America 4 with or without Chris Evans. I'm interested to see where it's all going, how it's going to end up, and how he transforms or how Anthony Mackie continues to develop, or the Falcon, I will say, because Anthony Mackie is great in the role, don't get me wrong. How the Falcon, Sam continues to develop as Captain America and doing it his way, which I did appreciate. He didn't try to follow into Steve's footsteps, and the Dora Milaje had to make him one badass costume because he's not a great fighter. So hopefully it's bulletproof, and it gives him a little bit of strength somewhere in those bones to become a better fighter. But so that was my take on that. And that does it for this week's episode of the Popcorn Wind Down. Thank you for joining us. Be sure to check us out. You can check us out anytime. Catch up on previous episodes you may have missed at Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify. Be sure to like, subscribe, follow, listen, share us with your friends. Tell them about the greatness that is the Popcorn Wind Down with Tammy and Eddie. You can also check us out daily on the Popcorn Wind Down for the Daily Wind Down to get your latest in entertainment and pop culture news. That was the plug. Pop, 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 pop. I'm getting better. Okay. So that does it. And until next time, thank you for joining us, and be sure to check us out again next week when we will be discussing Selena. Is it Selena?
I thought it was the Irregulars.
Oh, the Irregular. Damn it. It is. Okay. We will be discussing the Irregulars. Until next time, I'm Eddie.
And I'm Tammy. Bye.
Bye.